What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including more CM Punk drama. Punk gets roasted back. Is there going to be a civil war in WWE? Seth Rollins to miss more WWE TV time? A top star taking time off? And much more. Now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at more CM Punk AEW drama. At top of today's news is the latest report concerning CM Punk and AEW. As previously reported, there appears to be a disagreement between Punk and AEW management over the return of Punk's friend Ace Steel. Apparently Punk wanted Ace Steel with him at the shows, but AEW told Punk Steel was not allowed at any shows. Steel was one of the parties allegedly involved in the post-pay-per-view brawl following All Out last year. So far there's been much speculation but little substance to what exactly is going on behind the scenes other than there is a disagreement. Whether it's a work or legitimate remains to be seen, but let's look at the latest reports on Punk's current situation with AEW. Dave Meltzer commented on the Wrestling Observer Radio that Punk was supposed to be announced at the show. That was the big announcement, was going to be CM Punk at the upfronts, the star of the show. He was in the graphic, he was the lead in the press release, and then yesterday WBD was told to remove CM Punk from everything, and they removed him from almost everything. They forgot one link. Meltzer is referring to the upfronts where networks and cable stations present programming to advertisers. Punk, who was supposedly going to be the centerpiece of AEW's new Collision show, suddenly disappeared from the picture, with Meltzer adding, "There were people who had been told yesterday at WBD, scrub him from the thing. There was all kinds of speculation on what does this mean? Why did they pull him at the last minute?" While some fans have suggested AEW and Punk may be working the fans, it doesn't make sense for Warner Bros. Discovery to hype Punk's return as part of Collision, then suddenly take him off TV. Stranger things have happened in wrestling, but if it's the case, it seems risky as the situation already has AEW wrestlers talking backstage. Meltzer remarked, "There were people who thought that this was the ultimate blow-up, and Punk screwed Tony on Tony's big announcement on Tony's big day." Fans will have to wait and see how things play out. Rumor has it that WBD is hopeful AEW will resolve the situation with Punk. Nonetheless, if this isn't a work and Punk already has beef with AEW, why would the company want to risk bringing him back? The consequences could be catastrophic, including Punk going into business for himself or no showing after AEW promises he's returning. What do you guys think of this latest chapter in the Punk and AEW saga? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Punk gets roasted back. Speaking of Punk, wrestling journalist Brian Alvarez had a fiery response to CM Punk after Punk went off on Alvarez over a report concerning Punk and the current crisis with AEW. Punk even shared a private email between him and Alvarez, a move which may have upset Alvarez. Brian blasted Punk during an episode of the Wrestling Observer Live, saying, "I didn't get any story wrong. There wasn't one thing that I said on the show yesterday that was wrong." Alvarez questioned why Punk spent so much time with his rant and suggesting that fans should go outside and touch grass. Brian also dealt with Punk's comments that Alvarez doesn't know Punk personally and questioned why Punk is apparently so upset with him. So listen, yeah, I don't know Phil. You're right, Phil, I don't know you. But you know what? I do know a lot of people in AEW. I've heard from people in AEW and I've heard from people in WBD and they all said the same thing. There's an issue. I don't know why you're mad at me. Maybe you should talk to the people in your own company, or maybe you should talk to the people at WBD, which is where I got all the information. I didn't make it up. I didn't make one thing up. Alvarez also explained just why Punk is in the news. Why am I talking about CM Punk? Well, let me think about this. I do a wrestling radio show where my job is to cover wrestlers. You're a wrestler, and you're supposed to be the centerpiece of an announcement, and you weren't. Gee, I wonder why I'll be talking about this now. Now, we're not taking sides in this conversation, but it's worth noting that despite Punk's claim he has been off TV for 9 months, he continues to maintain a strong presence on social media, which suggests he shouldn't expect to be free from comments or criticisms about his career, especially in the high-profile situation he finds himself in. Next up, Bloodline drama building to civil war in WWE. Things are far from peaceful in the Bloodline, a situation that WWE apparently plans on capitalizing during the summer. Fans have watched tensions bubbling with the Bloodline, and according to Best Wrestling Experience, tonight's SmackDown will forward the storyline as Usos will F up and Roman won't be happy. While Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa are set to challenge Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship at Night of Champions, a rumor has it that Reigns and Sikoa will face the Usos soon. WRKD Wrestling recently tweeted, "While plans are still taking shape, one idea discussed for Money in the Bank in London is Roman Reigns and Solo versus the Usos, freeing up Roman for a title defense at SummerSlam." This isn't the first time that the idea of Reigns and Sikoa versus the Usos has come up, but if it happens, it'll mean 2 consecutive PLEs where Roman Reigns wrestled without defending his undisputed championship. The WWE's complete disregard for its top belt is mind-boggling, as is the notion of Reigns and Sikoa winning the tag titles. Next up is Drew McIntyre upset with WWE Creative. Is Drew McIntyre's absence from WWE television the result of him upset with Creative? Well, Meltzer is reporting in this week's Observer that at this point McIntyre's return is basically more a creative issue regarding what they want, what he wants, and when they agree to it. Meltzer said the Scottish Warrior's contract could see the WWE add time to his remaining obligations due to the time he missed while injured. It's believed that his current deal ends in early 2024. Meltzer pointed out that Drew could stay in WWE and that it should be noted that McIntyre, to the best of our knowledge, has not asked to leave, but they've not agreed to a new deal. But there's an obvious spot for him as a heel challenging Rollins. McIntyre would command top dollar wherever he decides to work, but it sounds like the WWE has plenty of time to work out a new deal if they want him badly enough. Next up, Seth Rollins to miss more TV time. It looks like Seth Rollins will be missing more time from Raw thanks to his role in the upcoming Marvel movie Captain America: New World Order. Rollins appeared on this week's Raw in a pre-tape segment, and there may have been more pre-tape segments to come, as Dave Meltzer reported in this week's Wrestling Observer that Rollins was off TV this week and next week, so they did a pre-tape segment because he was filming the movie Captain America: New World Order. The movie is currently filming in Atlanta for release next May. The WWE likes it when stars get mainstream publicity, and it'll be interesting to see what other, if any other film roles open for the Visionary. Next up, a top WWE star taking time off. Is Ronda Rousey taking time off from WWE, and if so, how does this play in the company's plans for her and Shayna Baszler to challenge Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's Tag Team Championship? According to Meltzer, the women's tag titles have been cursed since Rousey and Baszler were supposed to win them at Mania, and the titles were only step 1 in a longer-term Rousey storyline. The timing of this is an issue because Rousey is planning on taking time off at a certain time frame, which was prior to WrestleMania, and the story was to end well before that. They would have to speed up the storyline if Rousey doesn't extend her stay, because the original plan was to establish the team as champions for a while and then do the actual storyline that this was to build to. It sounds like the women's tag titles are being given short shrift again, as a little more than a propped up forward Rowdy Ronda's latest storyline. Next up, WWE adding a new show. As the WWE continues working on new deals for its weekly TV, Nick Khan isn't ruling out the addition of a new show. During an appearance at the Moffett Nathanson Technology Media and Telecom Conference, Khan pointed out, "Ideally for us, we would go every day of the week as long as there is a unique product that we can put on the air and resonate. Something we've discussed internally, Lucha Libre, which is big in Mexico and Latin America, to start something like that down the road." This isn't a shocker, as there was talk about WWE expanding into other markets with several international NXT brands. Unfortunately, the pandemic ended this. Khan noted that while WWE is considering a new program, it won't be tomorrow. This will be well after US and UK media rights are settled. The synergies are all in place and we have our legs under us with TKO Group. That's something that's interesting to us, especially with the growing Hispanic audience in the US. We over-index in the Hispanic community already with our English content. A target that is something of interest for us. Next up, a WWE Team Is Short-lived. The recently announced team of LA Knight and Rick Boogs has fans talking, not least because they're concerned LA Knight's affiliation with Big Man Boogs could stymie Knight's potential push. According to Best Wrestling Experience, fans shouldn't be concerned, as said before, one-off for LA Knight. I wouldn't be surprised if WWE has Knight argue with Boogs, leading to a short program between the two. A rumor has it that LA Knight is a top candidate to win this year's Money in the Bank briefcase, and a feud between Knight and Boogs could keep both men busy until July's big event. And finally, a heel turn coming on Raw. And last but not least, it appears there may be a heel turn coming to Raw. WrestleTalk recently commented on an interview on Main Event featuring Tegan Nox, noting Nox seemed to be a bit heelish, as seen in this promo. On SmackDown I was known as the nice girl of the locker room, but I'm on Raw now, the red brand. I'm Welsh for God's sakes. We are the Red Dragon, so I'm gonna beat people up. I'm gonna enjoy doing it. And Nox hasn't had a chance to do much since her main roster call up, and perhaps a heel turn will give her some momentum following her draft to Raw. But there you have it folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.